Hello and welcome back. We're going to talk today about the AB equals CD pattern because this is sometimes within the structure different types of harmonic patterns. And when you see this particular pattern, it helps you determine if the structure is strong or not, and it can help gain you that probability to weight your trades. So anyways, the AB equals CD pattern was actually talked about in Gartley's book, which actually described the Gartley pattern. I believe it was page 249. He introduced us to what the AB equals CD pattern is. So that's what we're going to go over today. There are three legs that form this pattern, which start with the leg labeled as AB. And we're just going to find this on the pattern that we're looking at right now, because what we can see here is that we actually have an AB equals CD pattern in play. And in this particular case, we can see that the A point is starting right here. Okay? And the way it works is the AB point would be this leg, just like that. Okay, this would be your B point down here, just like the harmonic pattern in this case. And this B point is actually going to be the completion of the first leg, which leads to a retracement or a correction that finds support or resistance at any Fibonacci level of 0.382, 0.50, 0.618, or 0.786. Okay, so this is going to be our retracement. And this would be your C point. So here's a good tip for you guys. Strong price action will likely see a retracement of only about a 0.32 level, which we will discuss later on in another lesson. But when price resumes in the same direction of the first AB leg, the CD leg then begins to take form. So the CD leg is going to be projected by the length from A to B, which is going to be, in this case, right here. About there. Okay, so we can see that in this particular instance, this harmonic pattern does not show us a D point within the PRZ here, which is what we're looking for. So this is not something that is great, not something that's fantastic, but the internal structure is there. However, what I would like to see is to count the bars in the AB leg and make sure that the same amount of bars equal in the CD leg. So although we have an AB equals CD pattern, I don't particularly like the structure of how the AB equals CD turned out. You can see here that it totally missed the PRZ, and you can see that right now what's happening is we're entering back into the PRZ again. We hit our first target, but we missed our second and we missed our third. So even though you have an AB equals CD, and this is a good example, you should note that you don't always want to play it. You want to count the number of bars in the AB leg, as well as make sure that they're roughly the same amount of bars in the CD leg. So when you have the D point showing up inside the PRZ, that gives you some added confidence that this is where the market's going to reverse. And remember, it all depends on your own personality and how you want to trade them, and what sits better for you and what feels more right. If you want to take the trade off a reversal pattern, or if you want to take the trade just as soon as you see price enter into a certain fib zone, you can do that too, and just accept the loss that when your stop gets hit, you're out. So you can either look for the reversal, or you can just enter and put your stop here, knowing that these patterns work out about 70% of the time and actually reverse out of this PRZ much higher. So, I mean, that's a good sign, and it might be good enough for some. But the key is that the AB equals CD pattern finishes in the PRZ, and this tells us that the structure and therefore the odds are on our side and is most likely going to work out based on probability. So using this with harmonics, the B point to the D point, which is right here, the B point to the D point should have the AB equals CD pattern on the Gartley or butterfly to show some good internal structure, as well as it could just be from the C point down to the D point. You might see a AB equals CD pattern here in order to project D as well. So you could see it in the AB equals CD leg, you could see it in the CD leg of the harmonic pattern, and you could see it even within both, and it could be almost like a fractal sort of AB equals CD pattern, which shows some great structure. So I mean, that's some great stuff that we can really use. You can probably use right away when you're looking for these patterns to see if they have those AB equals CD patterns in there. But now let's focus on like the really important stuff, which has nothing to do with finding the entry, but instead of knowing when this AB equals CD pattern is not valid, and therefore decreases the likelihood of the harmonic pattern working out. And the first is that the BC leg cannot exceed the AB leg, meaning that you cannot have a retracement that goes from here all the way, and this is the BC leg, that retraces past the point of A. Okay, so this invalid right away. It can come up to it into a full retracement, although that's very unlikely. That's your double top there, but it is unlikely in comparison. So you do want to see a retrace, and the smaller this retrace, the more of a drive you can see creating the final CD leg. The second is that the BC cannot be a 1.0 or 100% retracement of the AB leg. And the third is that the D must exceed B in order for the pattern to complete at point D and be valid for an AB equals CD pattern. So when we draw our CD leg, it must exceed this B point. Okay, so as long as it exceeds it, then it's valid. So once again, the three important rules here are that BC cannot exceed the AB leg, and that BC cannot be 100% retracement of the AB leg. It's still rare, but we're going to say that's the rule. The D must exceed B in order for the pattern to be complete. So the pattern is not complete until we actually exceed the B point. Okay? So we'll probably let you guys do a little quiz on that. This is the AB equals CD pattern, and therefore the importance of that, using it with harmonic patterns. Hopefully you guys have found that very much useful, and we can continue on with our lessons.